Hi, my name is Stacey Esther. I did my case analysis on the L'Oreal appearance discrimination case in Chapter 13. The case centered around an employee for L'Oreal named Eliza Yanowitz. She was the regional sales manager for that area of L'Oreal. She was an exceptional manager. Her employees were exceptional. And one day, someone from, the central office, Mr. Wiswall, came into the store to observe the L'Oreal sales counter. And he saw an employee that was a dark-skinned woman of Middle Eastern descent. And he did not feel like her look was appropriate for the L'Oreal image, so he ordered Ms. Yanowitz to fire the employee. Ms. Yanowitz felt like that was sex discrimination, that she was being asked to fire this woman on the basis of her looks, and she decided ultimately not to do it. The company became very upset at her, and they began to basically nitpick her work, and they decided because she didn't do things the way that they wanted her to do it, that they would just basically rip her apart, even though she won numerous awards for her work, even though she was one of the best in the company, and that they would fire her. And eventually they did that. And I was interested in doing this case because it was about appearance discrimination, even though we are taught not to judge a book by its cover, to in employment situations, base, decisions on merit and not based on the way that people look. It's something that happens all the time. Even though this saleswoman of Middle Eastern descent was an excellent salesperson, they decided that she was not what they needed, even though she did her job. So when Ms. Yanowitz was fired, she decided to file a lawsuit saying that she was fired for not firing a woman based on her appearance. Well, originally she could not win that case because at the time appearance discrimination was not taken seriously. The Court of Appeals heard her case again when she decided to make it into a sex discrimination lawsuit. So the issue is, should appearance discrimination be made into law the same way that minorities and other groups have civil rights? And the truth of the matter is, appearance discrimination is a difficult thing to tackle because everybody does that. It's part of nature. It's part of how we choose the people that are around us. And sometimes we have to do it, that's just what we have to do sometimes. For example, if you are an employer and you have to hire someone for a position, you have to discriminate. You have to decide, okay, what's this person's strengths, what this person's weaknesses are, why this person is not the person for the job. You have to discriminate in order to get the candidate that you want for the job. You can't do it on appearance discrimination. It really decides what kind of job it is. You can't discriminate on looks. Some do, like I mentioned in my case analysis, Abercrombie and Fitch. They like to hire their employees based on their looks. And in a way, I think that hurts their company, because who would walk in a store and shop around for clothes if the people don't look like you? You'll be, why would you want to wear clothes if you are basically being told that it's not for you? There are other companies like airlines. They hire, women, but they, have standards for dress codes, and they say, well, you have to wear makeup, or you have to, dress a certain way because this is our image. And that's okay to a certain extent, in my opinion, because at least they're being hired on merit and not just by their looks. But it is an injustice on our society, because we live in a society that accepts everyone, regardless of race or gender or, increasingly sexual orientation, age. That's something that our country is constantly working on. So you should not be judged based on the way that you look. You should be judged on how well you can do your job. So, but at the same time, it's going to be a difficult thing to place a law against this appearance discrimination, because everybody does it. And a huge problem for L'Oreal at the time was that their images were based on the traditional standard of beauty. It wasn't, inclusive to minorities. So this was a huge case in the media. So in order to get past that, not to be called a racist company, L'Oreal had to do a lot of different changes to their company. Like, they had to open up an ethnic research center so they could research products that minorities would like. And they did that in Chicago. They also started using minorities in their ads, like you see Beyonce and you see Penelope Cruz in their ads, because they want to say we're expanding our product line to include everyone. And they also reevaluated their ethics program, which is good, because they said that they want to be the kind of company that is inclusive of everyone. So, to conclude, appearance discrimination is a difficult thing to assess. It's a difficult thing to get a grasp on. It's complex because everybody discriminates against people based on their looks to some capacity in their lives. But this issue is growing more and more in our country, so people are becoming more aware, or having to be made to be more aware of how they look at people, and not to judge a book by its cover. Meanwhile, I think that L'Oreal did the right thing. They did everything that they could so they would not be seen as a backwards company. They're doing everything that they can to be inclusive of people of all races, so people of every persuasion can use their products. And I think ultimately that's a great thing for the company and for the country, because that's the kind of country that we live in. And that's it. Thanks.